How Dan Rivera died. On tour with haunted Annabelle doll. Most people think haunted dolls are just scary stories from movies. But what if one of those dolls actually took a man's life? This is the true story of Dan Rivera, a respected paranormal investigator who worked directly with the infamous Annabelle doll and died under circumstances no one could explain. To understand Dan's death, you have to understand Annabelle. If you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. It helps a lot. In the early 1970s, two nursing students reported strange activity from a doll they owned. A simple Raggedy Ann doll. It moved on its own. It left handwritten notes. And one of their boyfriends claimed the doll attacked him. Claw marks, cold air, whispers in the dark. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous demonologists, investigated the case and declared the doll wasn't haunted by a child's spirit. It was something much darker. A demonic entity pretending to be innocent. It was trying to manipulate, to possess, and to cause harm. The Warrens removed the doll and sealed it inside a wooden and glass case, with prayers and protection. They placed it in their private occult museum in Connecticut. And they warned, never touch it, never mock it, never doubt it. Dan Rivera believed that. He wasn't just a tour guide. He was deeply involved in the research and preservation of the Warren collection. He was intelligent, skeptical, careful. For years, Dan worked around Annabelle without issue. While others mocked or challenged the doll, Dan followed every rule. He never touched the case, he never disrespected the artifact, and he never joked about it. But something changed. On the day of his death, Dan was leading a private group through the museum. Guests later said he looked pale, distracted, unfocused. He paused longer than usual in front of Annabelle's case. One guest said he stared at the doll for almost a full minute without speaking. Then he quietly said, "She's not happy." Dan went home that night. No signs of illness. No complaints. Nothing out of the ordinary. But by the next morning, he was gone. His body was found in his bedroom. He had passed in his sleep. No heart condition. No trauma. No drugs. No obvious cause. The coroner ruled it as natural causes, but with no explanation. People who knew Dan said he was healthy. No medical issues. No red flags. He just stopped. The timing, the stare, the whisper, the sudden death. It all pointed back to one thing, Annabelle. You see, Dan knew the stories. One man who mocked the doll reportedly died in a motorcycle crash hours later. Another claimed to have nightmares for weeks after insulting her during a tour. Some collapsed. Others got in accidents, all after disrespecting the doll. But Dan hadn't mocked her. He had always followed the rules. So why him? Some believe that after years of exposure, Annabelle had finally taken her toll. That being near her, day after day, allowed her influence to grow. Others think Dan may have said something, or even thought something, the doll didn't like. Maybe that long stare in front of the case was his final warning. Maybe she chose him. We'll never know. What we do know is that Annabelle remains sealed in her case, untouched, surrounded by prayers, and still watching. And Dan Rivera, a man who respected the rules, followed the science, and never took shortcuts, became one of the only people connected to Annabelle who didn't live to tell the story. Still think it's just a doll?